Yung subtopic ay foreign corporation. Number 1, foreign corporation. A foreign corporation is one formed, organized, or existing under any laws other than those of the Philippines. That is incorporation test. And whose laws allow Filipino citizens and corporations to do business in its own country or state. Reciprocity test. So before siya ma-qualify as foreign corporation, dapat ipasa niya yung dalawang tests. Incorporation test and reciprocity test. Incorporation test, na foreign corporation siya dahil it was incorporated in a foreign country under foreign laws. Place of incorporation. Reciprocity test, dahil yung country niya ina-allow yung Filipino citizens and corporations to do business in its own country. So yan yung foreign corporation. It shall have the right to transact business in the Philippines after it shall have obtained a license to transact business in accordance with the Corporation Code. So dapat merong license i-issue ng SEC sa kanya. And a certificate of authority from the appropriate government agency. Depende kung anong klaseng business yung sa kanya. An application for license shall be under oath and shall specifically contain the name and address of its resident agent. Very important dito, yung resident agent. Authorized to accept or receive summons and processes in all legal proceedings. Authorized to accept or receive summons and processes in all legal proceedings. Say for example, yung foreign corporation nag-transact business in the Philippines. Bumili siya ng goods sa domestic corporation, pero hindi siya nagbayad. So the domestic corporation filed a case against a foreign corporation. Gagalaw lang yung case filed by the domestic corporation or magpuproceed kung na-notify si foreign corporation. Eh, sino yung magre-receive ng notice? Si resident agent. So, hindi na kailangan pumunta dun sa foreign country para ipa-receive yung notice. So, yan yung primary role ni resident agent to accept or receive summons and processes in all legal proceedings. Number 2, resident agent of a foreign corporation. A resident agent may be either an individual residing in the Philippines or a domestic corporation lawfully transacting business in the Philippines. So, pwedeng individual, pwedeng another corporation or domestic corporation. Next page. An individual resident agent must be of good moral character, and of sound financial standing. In case of domestic corporation who will act as a resident agent, it must likewise be of sound financial standing, tulad ng individual, and must show proof that it is in good standing as certified by the SEC. Good standing para sa corporation, parang good moral character para sa individual. So, yun yung mga qualifications. Number 3, unlicensed foreign corporation doing business. So, ano yung consequence na yung foreign corporation hindi kumuha ng license to transact business and yet nag-do business siya in the Philippines. Ano yung consequence? A foreign corporation transacting business in the Philippines without a license shall not be allowed to maintain or intervene in any suit, action, or proceeding in any court or administrative agency of the Philippines. So, hindi siya pwedeng pumunta sa courts natin to seek redress. So, wala siyang right to sue. Such corporation may be sued before the Philippine courts. So, wala siyang right to sue, but it may be sued. Unlicensed foreign corporation may maintain an action under the following instances. May examples to na kahit walang license, pero pwede siyang pumunta sa Philippine courts to seek redress. Kahit walang license. Yung ABC, yung common denominator, hindi yan nagdo-do business. Hindi yan nag-transact business. Or wala yung intention to transact business in the Philippines. Letter A, isolated business transaction. Yung isolated, meron ngang transaction, pero walang intention to do business, like baka accommodation lang. Pero hindi ibig sabihin na single transaction, automatic na na-isolated. Baka kasi makikita mo sa kanilang communications na single transaction nga, pero merong intention to transact business. Baka nag-testing lang, pero merong intention. So, isolated, walang intention to do business. Protection of its intellectual property in the Philippines. So, ninakaw yung software niya doon sa abroad, nireproduce dito sa Philippines, pwede siyang pumunta sa Philippine courts para issue yung nag-reproduce. Violation ng intellectual property law. Non-business transaction in the Philippines. Baka yung goods intended sa foreign country na ligaw, dito napunta. Gustong bawiin ng foreign corporation kasi sa kanyang goods yan. Ayaw ibigay sa kanya. So, pwede siyang pumunta sa courts natin para i-recover yan. So, again, yung ABC, walang business transaction dyan. Number 4, laws applicable to foreign corporations. Yung scenario dito, say meron na siyang license, nag-transact business, nagbenta ng goods sa Philippines sa isang domestic corporation, pero yung domestic corporation ay hindi nagbayad. So yung foreign corporation file a case against that domestic corporation for collection sa ating court sa Philippines. Kung tayo yung judge, ano yung law na i-apply natin? Yung law on sales ba natin? Or law on contracts? Or yung kanilang law doon sa foreign country? Sabi ng number 4, pag external matters tulad niyan, business transaction yan, we apply our local laws. Pero kung internal matters, we apply the foreign law. Ano ba yung ibig sabihin ng internal matter? Say, merong question doon regarding the validity of the board resolution. Yung voting requirement daw hindi na-attain. So, we apply, dahil internal yan, the foreign law. Nandyan sa paragraph na yan, yung dalawa. Yung external at yung internal. Yung first part, yan yung external. A foreign corporation doing business in the Philippines is subject to all laws, rules, and regulations applicable to domestic corporations of the same class. Yan yung external. Except with regard to the creation, formation, organization, or dissolution of corporations and the relations, liabilities, responsibilities, or duties of stockholders, members, or officers of the corporations to each other or to the corporation. Ito yung internal matters. So kung external, local laws. Kung internal, yung foreign laws. Next page. Revocation of license. Without prejudice to other grounds provided under special laws, o yung naka-enumerate dyan sa baba, among others lang. The license of a foreign corporation to transact business in the Philippines may be revoked or suspended by the SEC upon any of the following grounds. Letter A, failure to file annual report or pay any fees as required by the Corporation Code. Letter B, failure to appoint and maintain a resident agent in the Philippines. Letter C, failure after change of its resident agent or address. So resident agent pa rin. To submit to the SEC a statement of such change as required by the Corporation Code. Letter D, failure to submit to the SEC an authenticated copy of any amendment to its articles, bylaws, or any articles of merger or consolidation within the time prescribed by the Corporation Code. Sabi ng Corporation Code, within 60 days. Yan yung within the time, that is within 60 days. Letter E, misrepresentation of any material matter in any application, report, affidavit, or other document submitted by the corporation under the Corporation Code. Letter F, failure to pay any and all taxes. Failure to pay taxes, imposed, assessments, or penalties, if any, lawfully due to the Philippine government or any of its agencies. Letter G, transacting business in the Philippines outside of the purpose or purposes for which such corporation is authorized under its license. Letter H, transacting business in the Philippines as agent or acting on behalf of any foreign corporation or entity not duly licensed to do business in the Philippines. Letter I, any other ground or grounds as would render it unfit to transact business in the Philippines. That ends foreign corporation.